First today on CNN 10, we're reporting on a rule change from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. I'm Carl Azus. Thank you for taking 10 minutes for our down-the-middle coverage. The EPA promotes clean air, land, and water in America and makes sure federal laws concerning this are enforced fairly. The Trump administration's EPA has proposed a new rule meant to replace one by the Obama administration's. The Obama-era rule, announced in 2015, was called the Clean Power Plan. It was the first time the federal government set limits on the amount of carbon dioxide that U.S. power plants are allowed to give off. The Trump-era proposal, announced this week, is called the Affordable Clean Energy Rule. It allows states to set their own plans to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions their power plants give off. Why does it matter whether the federal government or the individual states set the rules about this? Well, critics of the Obama administration's plan say it went too far, that it gave the federal government too much authority to regulate what power plants across the country do, that it cost the power industry money and jobs, and that it raised energy prices, which especially hurt low and middle-income Americans. The Supreme Court put a hold on this plan after 28 states sued the federal government to stop it. Critics of the Trump administration's plan say it won't go far enough, that it'll give states too much authority to regulate their power plants, that it'll allow power companies to increase their carbon emissions, which most scientists blame for contributing to climate change, and that it will lead to more illnesses related to pollution. Environmental groups are expected to sue to stop the new rule. Many utility companies nationwide have been switching to natural gas and other forms of power, so it's possible that neither federal plan would have a major effect. 10-second trivia. Which of these events happened for the first time in 2009? Two satellites collided, China hosted the Olympics, the bird flu pandemic struck, or an extinct animal was cloned. According to NASA, 2009 is believed to be the first year when two communications satellites accidentally collided in space. It's pretty surprising considering the thousands of satellites that NASA says are orbiting Earth right now. What's also surprising, at least to some military analysts, is the recent and abnormal behavior of a satellite thought to be from Russia. Experts at Analytical Graphics, an American software company, believe a Russian satellite recently gave birth, so to speak, to a smaller satellite, and that satellite had a baby of its own. They compared this to a Russian nesting doll. The Russian Ministry of Defense also announced the first satellite release, saying the smaller one would inspect the condition of the larger one. So what? Well, analysts are concerned that these satellites have some kind of military purpose, that they could one day be used as space weapons, jamming American satellites, ramming American satellites, intercepting U.S. communications. That could all be part of it. Russia denies this. It calls the U.S. accusations unfounded. But the Trump administration wants the U.S. military to set its sights high overhead.
Space Force. Space Force. So we have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard. Now we're going to have the Space Force because it's a whole... We need it.
At the Pentagon, Vice President Mike Pence unveiling the White House plan.
The time has come to establish the United States Space Force.
Pence making the case the U.S. is under threat.
Russia and China to North Korea and Iran have pursued weapons to jam, blind, and disable our navigation and communication satellites.
In 2007, China used a missile to destroy one of its own out-of-date satellites. What if it had been targeting U.S. satellites?
What that means is that it put every single thing that we have in space at risk. That includes GPS communications. It includes all of the communication satellites that we have, all of the things that we depend on nowadays for our daily life, was all of a sudden put at risk by that one action by the Chinese in 2007.
The Kremlin working on a similar threat.
Russia's been designing an airborne laser to disrupt our space-based system, and it claims to be developing missiles that can be launched from an aircraft mid-flight to destroy American satellites.
Defense Secretary James Mattis was initially unenthusiastic about adding more bureaucracy to the Pentagon, telling Congress in 2017, "I do not wish to add a separate service that would likely present a narrower and even parochial approach to space operations." Mattis now says he's on board with the plan. Congress would have to approve a new branch of the military, and there are questions if more military offices are the right solution for a 21st century threat.
The U.S. government defines food security as always having access to enough food for an active, healthy life. It also estimates that around 12% of Americans don't have food security, and that's something that deeply bothered Maria Rose Belding. The 22-year-old has since launched a nonprofit online platform to connect those who have extra to those who have need.
Everything good? I'm the banquet chef at Twin River Casino. We have huge volume. You are going to end up with extra food. Inevitably, a lot of it would be thrown away.
So much of Providence just doesn't have enough to get by. I'll get the cereal. We feed close to 300 people a day. Sweets. Donations are critical.
There was a food pantry in my church that I grew up working in. You would have way too much of one thing and would be in desperate need of a different thing. Inevitably, some of it would expire. And I ended up throwing a lot of it away. How can there be 40 million Americans going hungry and up to 40% of the food supply going to waste? That's such an obvious thing to fix. I know we're about to pull in a lot of donors. Means is an online platform. So when a charity needs food, they tell us. And when a retailer has that food, we let them know automatically. The claim time average for the state is unbelievable. The recipients in Rhode Island have just been on it, like every time. We're almost exclusively high school and college students, but we've helped find homes for about 1.8 million pounds of food since we opened in 2015.
Now, when we have leftovers, in the morning we'll pan it up, weigh it, label it.
All a business needs to do is head to our website, tell us what they've got and when they need it gone by.
8 pans of summer squash, 20 pans of chicken, 500 pounds. It's available today.
Oh, it's 500 pounds. 8 pans of summer squash, 20 pans of barbecue chicken, and about 28 agencies were notified.
Chicken, summer squash, rice, flank steak. I get a text, and assuming nobody has gotten there first, I claim the food.
This has now been claimed. It has turned green. You would really think that the novelty of it would wear off. It doesn't.
All right, I'll see you in a little while.
We're able to match up excess and need very, very quickly.
There he is. Good to see you. The people that are picking it up definitely need it. It's a win-win all the way around.
This is really 4 or 5 meals. That's big, that's a week. The simplicity of it, the fact that it's, oh, there's a text. Oh, and here's the food. It's magic. All right, there's lunch. We picked this food up 40 minutes ago, and it's already on its way to the table. It's exciting that food that had a whole other job yesterday found this way better job today. How was lunch? Did we do okay?
Awesome.
Yeah?
I'm definitely not having a normal college experience. What makes it worth it is knowing we're building something that matters a lot more than we do.
You've heard the expression that laughter is the best medicine, but is it the best exercise? Some of those who do this say it is. They're not just laughing for the sake of it. Well, actually, they kind of are, because nobody's telling jokes. This is a class of laughter yoga. Practitioners say it helps them manage stress, tolerate pain, breathe, relax, boost the immune system. Maybe it's not as funny watching them as it might be participating, but don't laugh it off. Outsiders may want to chuckle out the whole idea. It does seem kind of flawed, but insiders say it's a scream, and any way you laugh at it, it's cracked up enough people to prove this is a laughing matter. I'm Carl Azus, and that's CNN 10.